could not get myself to sign up. And that's because there was something I wasn't feeling good about. And I think it's so important to align and then act. All right, I think I'm ready to finally share my 2022 race schedule with you. First, quick story. I already knew the races I wanted to do for a while now. Mentioned one already in a video. Could not get myself to sign up. And that's because there was something I wasn't feeling good about. And I think it's so important to align and then act, at least when I can. It's something I'm really trying to practice. Definitely still practicing it. Doesn't come easily because if I'm being honest, this feeling of being out of alignment with the races I wanted to do was at least a few weeks long before I took the moment to acknowledge that I was in alignment, and that's why I wasn't signing up, even though I had planned for it. And so finally this week, I sat down right behind me and I took a moment to think about why I wasn't feeling good about the races anymore. And then this is the important part, took out my notebook, pen, and I wrote down how I wanted to feel about the race, how I wanted to think about the race. And doing that, it created a huge shift for me. And sometimes these shifts take time. This shift was actually pretty fast because I took that a moment to align. And it took longer than I wanted. This is stuff I know is when you're feeling bad about something, it's just, and I wasn't feeling that bad. I just wasn't where I wanted to be feeling. But just taking that moment to acknowledge when you're not feeling great, to acknowledge why, and then think about how you want to be thinking about a situation. That's such a guidepost for me and for everybody, our feelings. And it's so important not to go through the motions and to take that moment. And I'm obviously not perfect about it. It took me a few weeks to get there, but now I did. And you can't beat yourself up about not doing things as soon as you should, because constantly learning. And the fact that I did take the moment and sat myself down was huge. Who cares if it took a few weeks? I did it. I feel better now. I got that shift and I was able to sign up for the races. And very importantly, as soon as I did that, I've noticed that all my runs just felt a little bit lighter, was able to get that joy feeling, especially grinding uphill or sending it downhill. Running it instantly just became more fun because I was back in alignment with how I wanted to feel about racing and running. So with that said, here is my race schedule so far for 2022. First up, March 12th is Run Through Time Half Marathon right here in Salida. Done this race a ton. Always just kind of use it as a good training run for other upcoming races or really I just do it because, well, in the past I like coming to slide it, and now I've done so many times that it means something to me, no matter how good of shape I am in or not. But this year I actually feel like I'm gonna be in better shape than I was in last year. Should be, for sure. A couple weeks later is Behind the Rocks 50K. That's just gonna be kind of another key training run, and I really wanna practice. You can hold me to this because I'm gonna struggle with this, is to cruise the first half, try to hold back a little bit, and then have a strong finish for the second half of the 50K. And this is all in build up for Canyon's 100K at the end of April. And when I first thought about Behind the Rocks, at first I thought it was too flat for the race I'm really training for, but then I just felt better about not needing to travel very far. I like going to Moab. It's not that far of a drive, which is nice. I just felt like an eased, relaxed feeling about it, which is what I wanted. And I felt like because it is somewhat flatter, that maybe I could train through it a little bit easier than doing a race with more vert, because that's typically what beats me up more, is just trying to, those downhills, they get your quads. So goal race for the spring is Canyon's 100K, which will be interesting. It's really competitive, and I think knowing that I need to work extra hard at just keeping my training fun and enjoying the day-to-day process for the reasons I explained a couple videos ago. So check that out if you haven't already. Then jumping ahead to end of summer, currently signed up for CCC 100K as well. So this is the first time I've really had a race schedule in a long time, and that's because my body's been feeling good. My mind has been feeling good. Again, I have my struggles, as I explained, but yeah, I'm excited, and I'm ready for this challenge of not just doing these races, but to stay really present and having fun throughout the training process. That's really the major goal I have for myself while training for, especially the really competitive races. Just a quick recap of this week's key training sessions. Started off with a tempo, 3 times 2 miles. That went so-so. Honestly, it's probably my worst workout so far of the year. I just didn't quite feel it, but it was one of those runs I just felt like it was okay to stick out and just get it done. So it wasn't pretty, got done. A few days later, I did about 18.5 miles, just nice and steady, and I felt great for that. I could easily have kept going, which is exactly how I wanted to feel for that run, especially with the speed workouts I was doing this week. And then today, wanted to do a track session. Still, man, the track just does not melt well. So still a little snow on the track. Had to improvise, and instead I did hill repeats, which I was going to do later in the training cycle, so I kind of switched some runs around, but it worked out. Did 10 times 2 minutes uphill, about a 90-second recovery between, and felt pretty strong. So another solid week of training in the books. That's going to be it for this video. If you're interested in training plans, how to train, whether it's a 5K or a 100-mile ultra race, please check out higherrunning.com. We also have some awesome coaches at Higher Running who still have a couple spots available, so check that out. Again, higherrunning.com if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. It truly does mean the world to me. Would love to hear your race schedule, so leave them in the comments below. Until next time, keep running wild.